everybody and welcome. I am so glad that you're here. Today I'm going to share with you one of the most amazing plants ever. My favorite, the Strelitzia, the bird of paradise. This plant is so beautiful. The plants that we have here are the Strelitzia reginae, which are going to give you that beautiful plant, that beautiful flower, which is in color orange. They look like a bird, so that's why we call it the bird of paradise. I had done previously a video of the propagation of the bird of paradise, so you can go ahead and check out that video so you can see how you can divide it and get another clone out of your beautiful plant. Today we're gonna be doing all the tips and tricks and also how we're gonna be pruning our plant. So you're gonna get lots of wonderful material and information of how you can grow your plant and take care of it so it can be majestically. This is one of the plants that if you really are looking for that wow factor for people that walk into your home and be like, wow, that's so beautiful. This is the plant to have. This plant, it grows really big, as you can see over here, and it has that fan-like look. And that's also another Strelitzia, and we have 4 different divisions throughout the house, so you can check that out in the video. The Strelitzia plant, it grows in a fan-like. So you can see in the middle, it goes all the way until it gets a really big trunk, and then it starts going into a fan-like growth. So it's gonna be growing to the side. It needs support also because as it grows and it gets big, so it's gonna be bumping and going, falling off. So if you don't have it against a wall, which I recommend to have it against a wall, into a corner, some spot that it can actually have something for support, then it's gonna be falling to the side, or it's gonna be falling forward to the side somewhere. So you will need to then, tie it up and then put a string so that they can stay, all together in the center. Or if not, you should need to put then a pole in the back so that they cannot flop forward and break. So if you don't have that, and you're gonna be putting them in a place that is not gonna have no support, then again, you will need to put then a stick to give it that support, or you will need to tie it up. So that's tip number 1. So I would always say to put it against a wall or into a corner so that it can have support. Support is key. In here, I have her against this window. So as she grows, she's gonna have the support against the window, okay? And I'm not gonna be switching it anymore because I like this position where it is. So I don't need to be flipping it or anyway because she's not gonna be growing it forward. She's gonna be growing to the side. As we said, it's a fan-like, okay? So we're good with that. Now, as you can see over here, the areas that she's not taking enough light, and I say she because I named this like my grandma, Vera. So in here, you can see that this is not getting enough sunlight. So it's getting all brown, and I have left it growing there because I like to see the stem. I like this, okay? So I don't need to cut it immediately. I was okay with that. But now, because I see that there's a new growth coming in the center, I wanted to give the plant enough nutrition and enough sources, energy, for only this growth over here, because I want this growth to be growing really massively, right? So I don't want the plant to be distributing the energy into growing this thing over here. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove anything that it's not growing well, that I don't like it as it looks, and that way the plant can distribute all the energy to the new growth. So that's another tip number 2. So in here, we're gonna be cutting this stem, but when we cut the stem, I'm not gonna be cutting, as I have seen many people, cutting the stem all the way in the bottom, because in here at the bottom, that's where you're gonna be seeing a new shoot. So let me show you what I mean by that. The plant, you see this little growth? So you can see the plant itself. This is gonna be the stem, but the stem has in the sides like this little tiny like leaf-like, that it tells you that in here it can actually grow something else. You can see it better like in here. You can see it in here as well. So each time that you see this little like extra double growth in the side, that will be another leaf that's gonna grow in the future. Like literally, this will be another leaf that's gonna be growing in the future. This over here, it gets really engorged, really engorged. And then you see that little tiny side like little tiny side double baby that's gonna be growing right next to the side. So if I were to cut this over here, I'm not gonna be cutting it all the way down over here. No, you don't wanna do that. Because if you cut it all the way over here, you're gonna be losing not only the one that you wanna get rid of, but you're gonna be also cutting the one that it should be growing the new growth. So no, don't do that. So you can see like in here, this is gonna be where the other one is growing, right? So you can see that this was one stem, and that one stem doubled up. You see? It doubled up and it gave birth to that other one over here. So the same thing is happening in each of the other ones. So whenever you're gonna be cutting that stem, you need to make sure and look carefully that there's not gonna be an engorgement that you're seeing with a little tiny side leaf that is gonna be coming out. Like I can see in here, let me show you closer. You can see over here, you can see that there's gonna be a new growth over here. I can see right here that there's gonna be another growth right here on the side. This is gonna be another growth. I can see over here that there's gonna be another growth right there. I can see over here there's gonna be another growth over here. So those are all gonna be new growth, new babies, new beautiful plants, you know, leaves are gonna be having in the future. So when I go and cut it, I'm gonna show you now exactly how I'm gonna be cutting it. You can see it now, right? Okay, so you're not just gonna need just a scissor, and that scissor, you know, this is a scissor specifically for plants that I have. And you need to clean it, have alcohol, just clean it very well so you don't put any bacteria into that. Remember that I said that your Strelitzia bird of paradise plant is full of water. All of this is full of water. It's a tuber completely full of water. So I'm gonna show you that as well. So we have said already 2 tips. Tip number 1, give it support. Put it in an area that's gonna have support so it's not gonna be breaking and bumping and falling and all that stuff. And it will look way much better having it in an area that it has support. Against the wall, on a corner, the best places. We got that. Tip number 2, you're gonna be pruning it. When you prune it, you're gonna be pruning it at a level that it doesn't affect the new growth. And we said that you're gonna try to stay away from the trunk area. So that's why I have seen people that they cut it all the way down over here, which I have cut them all the way down over here to avoid the growth to the side too much, too massively. And that's okay. If you wanna do that intentionally, as I have done before, so I don't have too much to the side and stay fan-like, but more in the center, of course you can do that. But if you don't wanna lose that new growth, then remember to not cut it too down and just cut it right on top of where the new growth is gonna be, okay? That's another tip. Okay, so now we're gonna go into cutting that. So in here, I see that there's gonna be a new growth over here, and it's so freaking beautiful. Let me just show you this. I get too excited. This is the one that I'm gonna be cutting right now. And as you can see, it has this new growth. So you can see this over here, this new leaf, it's gonna be coming up. So this is gonna be a new growth that's gonna be coming out of the plant, okay? All of that is a new growth. So I need to cut it right here on the top, okay? I'm not gonna be cutting it down here because if not, I'm gonna be affecting this new growth that it will be happening. That's key. I just said that a second ago, okay? So important, and I'm stressing this out because I know that many people have been doing it wrong. So I don't want you to be doing that, okay? So remember, you're gonna be cutting right on top of where the new growth is gonna be happening. You cannot cut it all the way down here because if not, you're gonna be affecting that new growth. Key, okay? I cut it in here. This is gonna be an example. I cut it in here down, so I cut that new growth because I didn't want it to grow to that side. So there's not gonna be any more new growth in here, okay? But in here, I do want it to keep on growing. So I'm not gonna be cutting it down over there. I'm gonna be cutting it on top, right here. Okay, so I don't affect that new growth. Okay, we got that. And you can see all the different new growth that we're gonna be getting in here. Okay. Okay, so you got everything about the new growth and you're not an expert of how to cut it. So we're gonna go ahead and cut it. Remember, you're gonna have a scissor that's gonna be clean, that's gonna be specific for your plants. And I have this scissor is only for my plants. It's already clean with alcohol. It's all good. So again, we're gonna be cutting it on top of where the new growth is gonna be happening. So I'm gonna cutting it right here, like an inch above that. And I cut it out completely, and you can see that this is a tuber full of water. It's just amazing. So that's why you need to water your plant very often, okay? And remember the tip. So tip number 3, which I shared in the video for the propagation, you're gonna be using your finger. Put your finger in the pot, and if it comes out that it's gonna be humid, it doesn't need any water. But if the first 2 inches it feels dry and it feels that it needs, it needs water, it's dry, then you can go ahead and fill it up with water. So use that method of the first 2 inches. The first 2 inches are dry, then that means that it needs water. For me, I water my plants once a week, and I give it a big soak of water. And this pot, it doesn't have no holes, no nothing, because I don't worry that much for this plant, because I already got into the rhythm of what she needs of water, and she loves water. So, but again, not over water. It's better to, any plant that you have, it's better to have it, less water than water, because if you over soak it, then you're gonna be killing the root system, and that's it. You cannot bring that back again. But if you have it dry, then you can just, give it water again, and it should come back again. So never over water your plants. Okay, I see this one over here as well. I'm gonna be cutting it right on top of the new growth. So we got that as well. You see, this is already wrinkly, all bad, and it's not because it's missing water. Whenever the plants are missing water, also they start getting like it's doing like this, it's coming in, their leaf system just goes in like that. So that tells you that it's also missing some water, but it's gonna stay with that green color. But in here it was because it was not receiving sunlight, and it's because of the curtains. So in here I'm gonna then cut this one over here as well. And I'm gonna just leave these 2 over here. They don't look super amazing, but I really like, how they're looking. So we cut 3 leaves already, and I cut them one over here, one over here, one over here. And I like how it's looking right now. As you can see, these 2 leaves over here, I have a little bit of sunburn and they look a little bit yellowish, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. I like it how it looks. My plants doesn't need to be perfect. Some people like to have them completely super green. And if you want to prune it even more, you can definitely prune it more. But if I were to cut these ones over here, it would look very asymmetric for me, because it still hasn't come up a new shoot over here, so that it can have that fan-like. And I like it to have that fan-like, growth. So you need to look into that. What is it that you want people to see? So I want people to see that fan-like. So I'm not gonna be removing this 2 over here, because if not, it will be growing too much to that side, and I will not see anything in this side. Once I see a growth in this side, a new growth, then I can go ahead and remove those 2 that I have over there that are a little bit yellowy. So beautiful. Now another tip and trick that I have when it's growing, because this plant grows really, really big. I'm 5'3", I'm super midget, but it's already like 6 feet high, six or more. So I have been tying it up into the rod. I'm gonna show you that, because I need to tie it even more so that it doesn't bump. Because whenever it's growing, so this is tip number 4, whenever it's growing, if it bumps into something, the growth stops, and the plant then starts growing into some other areas, or even not grow at all. Let me show you what I mean by that. I have one of the leaves over here that it actually stopped growing because it bumped into the curtain rod right here. So you can see over here, this plant over here, this leaf over here, it stopped growing because it bumped into one of the little curtain rods over here. And then it just stayed there, it got stuck, and it never grew anymore. So that's what I mean that whenever it's growing, you need to make sure that it doesn't bump the leaf into something, because if it bumps into something, then it's not gonna grow. So I'm gonna show you what I do for my leaves in here so they can grow really big above the curtain rod, because they were bumping into the curtain rod and I noticed that. So I tied it up like a fish line. Okay, let me show you this. So now I'm in the stairs, and safety first. This is the things that we do for our plants. So this plant is really big, so I need to get a stair. So actually, tie it up where I wanted to tie it. But let me show you the trick. Okay, so what I do is at the bottom of the leaf, I put a little string. So I tie it right at the bottom of the leaf. And then I go ahead and put it against a rod. Or if I don't have a rod, I might put a little nail and then tie it to there so that the plant can grow towards that direction, and also not to help her not to bump into this over here, because when it was growing it was bumping against this over here and it was staying stuck in there. That's why you see that it has like a little, like it was getting that little line over there. But I immediately noticed that, so that's why you need to walk around your plants and check them out. I noticed that, and so I did this little trick so that it will grow above that. And I just go ahead and tie it over there, and every single time that I can, I just go ahead and pull it a little bit higher. And I did the same thing with this over here, this leaf. And so you can see that it already has grown above the curtain rod. So I'm good to go. I don't need to tie it anymore. So now she's good. She's gonna keep on growing. But any other of the leaves that I see that they're getting stuck into some position, then I put a little line and I help them to grow above that little position that they were getting stuck in. Because if not, then the plant is not gonna grow. The leaf is just gonna stay small, and it's gonna have that little direction, that little shape of wherever they got stuck, like the one that I show you. So that's another trick. Another tip and trick is watering and cleaning it. So we're cleaning it. Whenever we're cleaning it, I know that there's many people that they use a cloth and you just water it, or you can put neem oil, anything that you might like, that it's not gonna be, that's gonna be organic, it's not gonna be too much. But I don't like to put too much oils into the plant because it also blocks the plant to actually do photosynthesis. So I just like to use water. So what I do for this plant, because she is so smooth that I really don't need to use a cloth. I don't need to use a cloth to be cleaning it. I usually don't do that. What I do is I take a spray bottle, and this is actually a recycled spray bottle. So if you don't have a spray bottle at home and you have one of your cleaning spray bottles that it's about to be, empty, once it's empty, don't throw it away. You can actually, clean it very well with water, and then you can go ahead, fill it up with water, and you can use that spray bottle for actually spraying your plants. Recycle, baby, recycle. So this is a recycle bottle, and I just have plain water in here. So what I do is I spray the whole plant with water so that I can give her some humidity, because this is a tropical plant. They like to be in the jungle. They like to be in a humid environment. And in here, we're blasting the heater the whole time because it's snowing all the time outside. So our entirely so tropical outside, it's all white snow. So in here, what I do is I water the plant, but especially this new growth over here, you really want to soak it with water. It helps that then when the plant is, doing that circle like that, it's just rolling and getting opening up, it helps it to open better. Really, it does. So follow my advice and water it. That way it's not gonna be getting, because sometimes it gets stuck because it's so dry and it gets stuck in there, and then it doesn't roll out perfectly. And then you have sections of your plant that it didn't never roll out, so then you have a plant that it looks like it's not even. But all of my little leaves, you see them that they're all even, and it's because of that. So just go ahead and soak it. Now she's really happy. The spaces in the areas that I cut the whole plant, I can actually leave it how it is, because the plant itself can heal itself. But another trick and tip that I do, but it's not necessary, okay? So you can just leave it how you did it, just cut it and that's it. But if you have pure organic raw honey, then that will be good. You just put a little bit of the honey on top of that little cut that you did, because the honey is full of antiviral, antifungal, antioxidant, antibacterial effect. So it will help protect the plant to not get any infection in that area. So you can do that. Just take a little bit of honey and just put it in there. I have some, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Here we go. Taking just a little bit of honey, putting it on my finger, and covering the spots that I cut it. And going to clean this mess up. Another thing that I like to do with my plants is that I like to fill it up all the way to the top with soil, because as the plant grows, it's gonna keep on eating the nutrients, and the soil is gonna go down. It's gonna start decreasing as the plant keeps on eating all those nutrients of the soil. So I have a compost area outside, but if you don't, then just have an extra sack of soil that you have bought in any of the stores. And then once a year, you're gonna then fill up the plant. As you can see over here, it was all the way up to here, and now it's down. But I also do this of putting too much soil, because I know that I like to plant stuff throughout the day, throughout the year, and inside the house. And if it's winter, I'm not gonna go outside to my pile of soil and get that. So I just go ahead and get soil from the big pots that I have. So I do that as well. But anyways, you're gonna have to fill it up once a year. Just put some extra soil. So as you can see, it was all the way up to here, more or less, and now it's down like maybe 4 inches. But it's also because, again, I took some soil for other plants. And then you're just gonna go ahead and just fill it up another layer, 2 inches or so that she can have more nutrients. Also, as I always say, always use a fork. You can get this from the dollar store. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And you're gonna be using it to aerate the soil so that the plant can have nutrients. I see already a root over there. That's why I know that I need to put some extra soil so that I don't see the root system. So in this soil, you can see that it's all black, really good. I already watered it, so I don't need to water it right now. But if I see that it's really dry, brittle, then that tells me that I need to also water it. You can see that I also add to this some extra dry leaves. So I have a few plants over here, and they're always drying out leaves. They're really tiny leaves, so I put it in here as well. That's organic material. It's gonna just go away. But you're not gonna be putting huge big trunks that takes a lot of time to decompose, because that's gonna attract gnats, and it's gonna attract also fungi, humidity, so you don't want that. But little tiny leaves, many people like to take them away, but if it's tiny leaves that they are drying quickly, I like to leave them there, because it actually gives extra nutrients. So that's another trick for you guys. So, but the important thing is to aerate it, because if you aerate it, whatever eggs you have here of nuts, they're not gonna come out. So you don't have to worry about that. So I know that many people put sand and put perlite and all kinds of stuff in there, and sand is good, but you're not gonna be able to aerate it as good as I like to do, because then you're gonna be mixing the sand with the soil, and and then whenever you have to put another layer of soil, you have the sand there, and now you have a whole mix of sand and soil. It's a whole fiasco. So I don't like to do that. If that's a nice trick for a plant that you're never gonna be putting extra soil and aerating the plant. But I like to aerate the plant. It helps the soil tremendously, and it helps the plant to grow. So my trick is to aerate it with your fork. That's the most important thing. And put in an extra layer of soil. So we got that. Now in here in the bottom, I see that I have some of these leaves that completely die out. So I'm gonna remove that, because if not, you will have them in between this. So in between that little leaf that is all dry, every time that I'm watering and all that stuff, it created a perfect pocket for bacteria and fungi to grow. So you don't want that. So once you see that you have a leaf completely that it's gonna be dry out, go ahead and pull it and remove it. You see? Just remove it completely. As I did, go to the front and then pull it, because if not, you're gonna be breaking also the trunk. So going to the front and pulling it. So cute! And that way it's gonna be more clean. And that way the trunk also, it's not gonna be full of humidity, because as you can see, it takes lots of humidity. And you're not gonna be putting any bacteria, and the plant is not gonna be getting infected. So you are gorgeous, beautiful, majestic. So keep on growing, mi vida. So that's my baby, and I'm gonna do the same thing for all the other plants. I'm just gonna clean them up a little bit. So I'm gonna take it with me if you enjoy also checking out the plants, so you can see how we keep on doing all the other plants, cleaning them up. But it's not as bad the other one, so let me show you. We have another one over here, the same against a wall. And I'm just gonna cut this one over here. And if you're wondering what is that beautiful plant that I have in the end, that is a passion fruit vine. That is Rumi, my sister, that I named her after Rumi. You know that I named on my plant. That was Beba. This is Benny, my grandma's. And anyways, once that has grown really massively as I want it, then I'll make a video of it so you guys can enjoy my beautiful passion fruit plant. And we are all done. I hope that you really enjoyed this video. I know that I did. This is one of my favorite plants. And now you have all the tips and tricks of how are you gonna be doing your pruning and taking care of your Strelitzia. So now you know how you can have that majestic look of a plant. May you have an amazing day. May you enjoy the day, enjoy the miracles. And if you really enjoyed this video, then go ahead and like this video, share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to the channel. It's completely free, and in here we share all kinds of tips and tricks, do-it-yourself, decor, health and wellness, all kinds of stuff, lifestyle design, all kinds of different little beautiful tricks and tips, especially lots of gardening, because you know that I love gardening. So may you have an amazing day, plus home remedies, lots of home remedies. May you have an amazing day. God bless you. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Bye. Until next Tuesday.